5 degrees. I've never had 35 degrees whilst in this country.
Wonderful.
I think that might be a tiny bit too hot, actually.
No.
Or is it too hot outside? That is the question. And what should we be doing to keep ourselves safe?
Okay, let's speak to meteorologist John Hammond. Hello, John. Where are you? Oh, you see, John, you're outside enjoying the sunshine. It's not too hot, is it?
No, it's absolutely lovely. It's 20 degrees out here. It's perfect. But on a serious note, folks, by early next week, you could scrap 20 degrees. It could well be 40 degrees. I think there will be hundreds, if not thousands, of excess deaths early next week.
Yeah.
The charts that I can see in front of me are frightening. So we all like nice weather, but this will not be nice weather. This will be potentially lethal weather for a couple of days. It'll be brief, but it'll be brutal.
Oh,
so
John,
we can.
So John, I want us to be happy about the weather and every single. I don't know whether something's happened to meteorologists to make you all a little bit fatalistic and harbingers of doom. Because all of the broadcasts, particularly on the BBC, every time I've turned on anyone's talking about the weather, they're saying that there's going to be tons of fatalities. But haven't we always had hot weather, John? I mean, wasn't the 76, the summer of 76, that was as hot as this, wasn't it?
No, and we are seeing more and more records, more and more frequently, and more severely. So yeah, some people always hark back to the summer of 76, which was a freak event 40 odd years ago, over 40 years ago. But heat waves are becoming more extreme. This is yet another one which is coming down the track towards us. And I don't think we should be too light-hearted about the fact that many are going to die early next week because of the heat. 40 degrees, the sort of temperature that this country, I'm afraid, is just not geared up to cope with. So if you're an employer, I would be worried about early next week how your workers are going to safely get to work. And if you're an employee, then I would be thinking or asking my employer, with potentially railway lines becoming buckled and lots of infrastructure disruption, how am I going to get to work? Should I be getting to work? There'll be COBRA meetings taking place over the next day or so in top-level government just to how the country is going to cope with this kind of heat. And all the computer models are now in pretty much agreement that it is going to happen, and it's Monday and Tuesday. And if you go on the Met Office website, there's an amber warning for extreme heat for Sunday, Monday and Tuesday. I think it's Monday and Tuesday, which is going to see the peak of the heat, when temperatures will be widely up into the mid, possibly high 30s, and I wouldn't be at all surprised if somebody hits 40, and if we hit 40, that will be unprecedented. The highest temperature we've ever reached or ever recorded in this country is 38.7. There's a good chance we're going to smash that.
So when you say people might die, John, and I don't want to be flippant because teenage boys do stupid things and they jump off bridges in hot weather and they injure themselves. There are lots of ways that stupid teenage boys can injure themselves. But I know what you're saying, that maybe the elderly, if people aren't looking after them, buy them a fan, get them some cool hot water bottles filled with iced water, whatever it is to keep the temperature down. Don't sit in the sun. Don't drink too much, right? That's got to be a big thing. We Brits are idiots, aren't we? We go and sit in a beer garden, drink 3 bottles of rosé, and then fall asleep in the sun on the pavement on the way home. That's all a terrible idea. But do you think we're all getting a bit... Were we all just a bunch of wimps now, John? Aren't we all clever enough to work out when we can and can't, what we can and can't do? And actually, we shouldn't be terrified of everything.
Well, I think given that what's about to happen has never happened before, maybe we should be a little bit more concerned. This will not be a standard, nice, warm spell of weather. Yeah, when it's 25 degrees, we can sit out in the sun, we can enjoy a bit. But your body just cannot cope with temperatures which are as high as 40 degrees, particularly in this country where buildings tend not to be air-conditioned and where the infrastructure just is not prepared for that kind of heat. I know I'm sounding like a prophet of doom, but I think there is a risk that we are belittling what's about to happen to this country through the early part of next week. I'm a happy weatherman normally, but given the charts that I've got in front of me, I'm afraid we can't just brush it off as another heat wave.
Okay, very finally, so you've talked to us about what could happen and what people need to do, the precautions they need to take. What about the why? You've made big claims there about the record.